Joining us now is Stanley Terrell. He is a financial relationship consultant located in Atlanta, Georgia. Hey, Stanley, and thanks for joining in today's conversation.
Hey, Josh, thank you for having me.
No problem. So, for our viewers who may not know you, can you first start by telling us a little bit about your background?
Sure. Hey, my name is Stanley Terrell. I've been in banking for nearly a decade. I work as a financial relationship consultant for a bank, and I work with small businesses in the Atlanta area. What I do is usually close loans for businesses, but right now, what I'm doing is providing guidance and perspective during this pandemic.
All right. So, as you can imagine, many Americans are facing new worries about money amid the COVID-19 pandemic. What financial advice can you provide to help minimize the anxiety brought on by the uncertainty?
The best advice that I can provide that can fit into any situation, whether that be someone just starting out or my established folks out there, is to spend sparingly. Only purchase necessities at this time. We don't know how long this pandemic is going to last for. I personally would avoid using any credit too heavily. I try to use savings if I have the savings to use. If not, if you are going to use your credit card as little as possible. Buy the important things with it, because you know how those rates can be.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're piling on things that it's going to be hard for you to pay off. It's just going to put you in a deeper hole. If you live in a household with more than one vehicle, use the one that's the most fuel efficient. And, speaking of folks who may live in a household, if you live with family or roommates, pull your resources together. That way you could save as much as possible and, not overextend yourself.
So, for people who don't have a savings account and actually need to make purchases by using their credit cards, what do you suggest them to do when it comes to making these essential purchases?
Well, for those folks who don't have a savings, unfortunately, and they have to use a credit card, I definitely take a look at the interest rate that the card has on it. Right now, with the pandemic, a lot of companies are helping consumers out by offering deeply discounted interest rates, or for a grace period of time. It depends on the company. They're giving you 0% interest,
Okay.
so you can use your card and not have to pay that extra interest for the emergencies that may pop up while we're living through this.
Okay.
So I would definitely contact my credit card company and find out what they can do for me.
Got it. So, you stated that you work with small businesses. What is the government currently doing to keep small businesses from permanently closing their doors?
That's a great question, Josh. A major focus the government has right now is making sure our small businesses stay afloat. It's not just the major companies that are receiving help. It's the small companies as well. Our landscape companies, our barber shops, even people who are sole proprietors can benefit from what's called the PPP loan. It's the Paycheck Protection Program loan. It's
Okay.
through the Small Business Administration, and it's a forgivable loan. Small businesses can contact their local bank or visit the Small Business Administration website. It's a .gov website to see how they qualify. All businesses are different. You can have an incorporated business, an LLC, limited liability company, or a sole proprietor. So it depends on the business type as it pertains to the document you'll need. I've been on the website. It's very easy to read. Anybody can look at it, and you'll see exactly, once you punch in the information of what your business is, you will see the documents that they asked for is something you should have.
And I can imagine a lot of small businesses need to act fast about this, especially when it comes to paying and assisting their employees. Because if they had benefits that was covered with their job, such as like insurance or health insurance,
Yeah.
just by having to pay them and still have that option is very important, especially in a time like
Yeah.
this.
Exactly. So your 401ks, you could still contribute to them. The
Mm,
CARE Act does have provisions in it to help make sure businesses can still match if
okay.
your business, if that's, and by the way,
Yeah, a
everybody,
lot
if
of
your
businesses
company,
do that. Yeah.
yeah, if your company offers it, definitely match. That's free money. So please take
Okay.
advantage of that, out everybody out there. But so the CARE Act does have provisions in it where if you have a 401k, if you have health benefits, your company will still be able to provide that for you.
So I do know that the government has suspended the penalties and fees associated with withdrawing monies for 401ks. Do you recommend people tapping onto this, 401k financial stability accounts?
Yeah, the government has suspended penalties and fees associated with withdrawing funds from your 401k. But at this point in time, I do not recommend anyone tapping into their 401k balances. Saving for retirement is important, especially for those who started late, which a lot of Americans find themselves doing. You know, a lot of people in their 30s, 40s, they're just now tapping into, oh, let me save for my retirement because now it's on their head. Now it's in their mind. Excuse me.
Right.
Now, I know you want me to speak on the pros and cons on the withdrawal, but there really are no pros. There's a lot of cons. So basically, if you are find yourself in a position where you have no choice, obviously go ahead and borrow from your 401k, because essentially you're paying yourself back. But that, you always want to just be contributing to that account. You don't want to take from that one.
Right.
That's why I say go savings, credit, then as a last resort, your 401k.
Okay.
But speak with your human resources department at work. That's for anybody who has a 401k. You should have an HR you can speak to get more information on how to withdraw the funds if you need it. But once again, it should be your last resort.
Okay. So while you were giving me that answer, it also brought another question in mind. For people who can't afford to pay their mortgage or their rent, and they are given that grace period, what advice do you have for them?
So right now, I know times are tough. So a lot of people are having to take advantage of companies who are allowing them to skip payments, defer having to pay insurance or their rent or their mortgage. Me personally, when I have a client in front of me, I tell them not to do that. I want you to get rid of that loan or pay down on that debt as quickly as you possibly can. I don't want that to linger over you any longer than it has to. But I say just make as whatever payment you can make. I would do that.
Okay.
Every single day, even though these things are being deferred, so for example, a mortgage payment or a loan payment, interest is occurring every single day.
Okay.
So if you're deferring having the due date, that doesn't mean interest isn't piling up. These companies are going to make their money regardless.
Right.
So what you want to do is even if you can make half the minimum or the very minimum, or if it's $20, do it. Okay. Just make some type of payment towards it and don't completely defer your payment.
Okay. So lastly, the American people need hope that this pandemic will blow over. What words of encouragement or advice would you tell these people to ease some of their anxiety or fears, especially when it comes to their finances?
Financially, this country has been through way worse. I was 18 at the time, and some of you might have been younger or older during the 2008-2009 financial crisis that led to the Great Recession. There was a lot of business closures, major and small, massive layoffs, home foreclosures all over the country. But now in 2020, we have placed a great emphasis on companies and financial institutions to do the right thing. Like we talked about earlier, if you're experiencing hardships, you can call your cell phone provider, your companies you have a loan with, your insurance provider, and ask for a deferred or discounted payment. So a lot of companies are offering this to people financially hurt by the pandemic, which is awesome. Back then we didn't have the force that is social media, which is keeping a lot of companies in check and is helping to make sure that these companies do the right thing for their employees and customers.
Got it.
A lot of people may not be fans of the current administration, but they did take a step in the right direction with the CARES Act. It put a lot of laws in place that will help to keep everyone afloat during these trying times. And right now we need to just spend a little less, save a little more, spend time with our loved ones.
Hey, thanks so much, Stanley, for joining us and providing your knowledge and expertise on finances.
Oh, for sure. Anytime. Thank you so much for having me.